1. The house. Once a rat that was feeling bored came out of his hole to see the world. He went to a garden where he saw a big cat and got frightened. So, he hid himself under a big leaf that was the dwelling place of a tortoise. The tortoise yelled at him, "What are you doing here?" The rat fled from there in search of another shelter and happened to pass over a gardener's feet. The gardener shouted at him, "What are you doing here? Go back to your home." The rat fled away from there and ran straight to his hole, took a sigh of relief and thought, "East or west, home is the best." 2. The little pine tree. Once there grew a little pine tree deep in the forest. It had needles that were evergreen. Yet it was glum. It said, "My needles are not as pretty as leaves. I wish I had golden leaves." Next morning, it found its wish had been granted. It had shining golden leaves. A man passing by saw the golden leaves and started plucking them. Soon the little pine tree was stripped bare. It again said, "I was wrong. I wish I had glass leaves. They would look pretty and no one would steal them." The next morning the tree saw that it was covered with glass leaves. They sparkled in the sunlight and tinkled gently. But along came a storm, and the glass leaves were all broken. Once more the little tree was bare. Now it said, "Leaves of gold and grass are pretty. But I wish I had green leaves." Again its wish was granted and it was covered with pretty green leaves. But then a hungry goat came and ate up all the leaves. "What a fool I've been," sighed the little pine tree. "My needles were the best for me. I wish I could have them back again." Fortunately, the little pine tree was granted its wish once again, and it got back its pretty needles. 3. The manager. Once, Mr. Lion was looking for a manager to look after his business. Many animals applied for the post and were interviewed. Finally, came the turn of Monkey. When the monkey was questioned that why he should be appointed as the manager, he replied, "Sir, you are looking for a dynamic manager who can handle a variety of jobs." At this, the lion asked the monkey to prove his capability. The monkey said, "Sir, in the past year, I have changed 10 jobs. Don't you think I am capable of doing various jobs?" Lion laughed at the witty reply and appointed him as the manager. 4. The mango tree. Once there lived a lazy man in a village. His only source of income was a mango tree, which was planted in the backyard of his house. One day, one of his relatives came to his house. At breakfast, lunch, and dinner, only mangoes were served to the relative. He got fed up of this and thought of a plan. At night, when the lazy man was sleeping, the relative quietly woke up, cut down the tree and fled away. Next day, when the man saw that the tree was cut down, he cried a lot. After few years, the same relative again came to his house. By now, the man had worked and prospered. His condition had improved. He thanked the relative for making him realize his mistake. 5. The mistaken complaint. Once a shepherd had a large flock of sheep and a strong watchdog to guard them. When the flock used to graze in the pasture, the dog guarded it with care. In the noon, the shepherd, while having his lunch, used to feed the dog too. The sheep watched this daily and whispered about this special treatment. One day, when the shepherd was sharing his lunch with the dog, the sheep said, "Master, you are being unfair to we sheep. You don't treat us all equally." "I didn't get you." "Come up clearly," said the shepherd. The sheep said, "We give you milk, wool and lamb, but get nothing in return. We feed on grass that we have to find ourselves. This dog gives you nothing, still you feed him so affectionately." At once the dog said, "If I won't be there to guard you, you won't be able to come grazing. Either some wolf will make you your meal or some thief will steal you." The sheep had no words to say. 6. The wind and the sun. Once the wind came to have a false pride of his strength so much that he challenged the strength of the sun. The sun tried to smile away the wind's challenge, but the wind insisted on a trial of strength. The trial was to be upon a traveler. He who would make the traveler put off his coat was to be the winner. The wind had the first attempt. He gathered all his force and came down upon the man trying to blow off his coat off his body. But the man felt colder and wrapped it even harder round himself. Now it was the sun's turn. The sun shined brightly. As obvious, the man felt quite hot and put off his coat. So, the sun came out to be a winner.